Hello, Dr. Carter, also classmates. My name is Jeremiah Dukes, and I will be presenting my work, my thesis project. My thesis project is on creating a sustainable multi-ethnic church as a change agent for race relations in the United States. Race relations goes back to the formation of our country itself. When you look at when people came over to discover America, there were people already here, and they proposed and put onto those individuals new structures. Also, the African American who came over as slaves, and many of the marginalized individuals in our society who feel oppressed upon or not talked to or linked to. The intention of this work is twofold. First, to talk about where this unrest came from and the origin of it, and I want to use the post-colonial theory as a lens to look at that. I also want to lay down groundwork for developing the church using transformative paradigm theory lens to help develop how do I develop a sustainable multi-ethnic church. The words that I want to first define for you would be multi-ethnic. Multi-ethnic, like in my paper, it talks about one theorist, Marcuse, who combines racial and also ethnic groups together and how they interplay in society. Sustainability, what that would be about, it would be relating to or a method of harvesting or using resources when the resources at the end of the day will not be depleted. When I think about the social issues that are going on there, the social issues would be anyone who has oppressive fictional realities that have been placed on them by Eurocentric Americans, citizens, and those would be Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, and many other marginalized groups. Post-colonial as a theory was formed by Edward Said, who wrote a book called Orientalism, and this book kind of displays 18th century Eurocentric view of the Far East without actually going there, but they would cast these individuals as exotic and other things. Words that were formed and through this post-colonial thought would be others, or this is the essence of the dominant cultures defining or how they are casting a opinion or a stereotype on these individuals. Essentialism was pretty much you are essentially this, women are this, Asians are this, African American, blacks are this. The sublayering has to do with the lower class or the marginalized individuals who would not be able to achieve a certain level of power. The power is on this level, and so the marginalized or the sublayering people were down on this level, and they had to reach up through that. This is how it affected society, and as church was also affected because churches are made up of individuals who are a part of that society. There are a couple of case studies that I go through in the work, some dealing with Native Americans who had historical trauma of land being taken from them and discrimination. Also how the Holy Scriptures were used to keep the African Americans in bondage. Also numerous Native Americans who were converted, and then they thought that they could use their influence to possibly take their land from them. I think all of those things were brought up to us, and our realities were constructed for us. And I believe that as I was reading about the transformative paradigm theory, I was like, this is a theory that can help deconstruct some of those things. This theory addresses social inequality and human rights issues through philosophical framework. They really point out four key things. The first thing would be exology. Exology deals pretty much with your ethical worth. The individuals, no matter who they are, have worth. Of an individual regard. This is their overarching component. The ontological, this is talking about what is real, what is reality, not just reality that people create and place on you, but also the reality that you help to be a part of. Also epistemology, where do we form knowledge from? How much do I know the people who are forming my knowledge? it deals with these issues is the methodology, the way that we gather information about individuals. I thought the transformative would be a great way to go. I used this as my proponent to look into this study. I did a mixed method approach. The mixed method would be the qualitative approach. And so the qualitative part of the mixed message, I would qualitatively talk about, post-colonialism, the attributes of post-colonialism, and how they have affected society, and also the church, and the ways that it really helped shape where we find ourselves right now with all the social issues in the United States. I use post-colonialism to really define who are the others, what is the sublayering, how do we bridge that gap, and really give an insightful look on how that is all about. Then I also use qualitatively how to talk about the paradigm shift. I talk about Mrs. Merchant, Diane Merchant, who really is the mother of transformative paradigm theory, and how she approaches how to really not only talk about it, but also offer suggestions on how to bring about change with this. I thought that when I read it the first time, I was like, this is actually a thing, and it was, and I was like, I'm using this for this word. Transformative will introduce, I introduce as a possible framework, the implementation of it, the core beliefs that all individuals have worth, the epistemology that everyone should have, should know and play a way of gaining their own knowledge. Ontologically, we have to work together and to create a reality that we can share, a shared reality. And then the methodology that we can use all those things that we have just passed before, the epistemology, the worth, the ontological creating reality, and look at that as a method of moving forward when creating a multi-ethnic church. I wanted to use the second part of quantitative data to make it mixed method. The quantitative data would be me doing a survey of such to find out, hey, exactly, this is a closed-ended survey. I need to ask about 5 or 6 questions to begin with to see if this is even something that is feasible or that individual group members would be interested in. Things that I laid out was wanting to find out how many individuals would be interested in creating something with the idea of bridging gaps for social change. How many people are a part of churches now that are really approaching this as something that is real? What kind of impact does your Christianity have on race relationship? How important is it to them? And I have a 5-level ranking system, with 1 being simply maybe not so important, and 5 being extremely important. It's very very interesting to me. I use a lot of hypotheticals. I asked a lot of hypotheses. I hypothesized that individuals who the first assumption was that if individuals who are the minority believers would attend a more ethnically diverse than the majority culture would. The second one was the assumption that the majority of individuals who agree strongly with the fourth question would, however, be indifferent to switching churches to be a part of a multi-ethnic church. And another one was that marginalized believers are more willing to attend a multi-ethnic church than the dominant culture. I believe that all these things were placed together and were fascinating. At the end, I analyzed and I asked, using the qualitative and quantitative data developed through a transformative framework to help develop the thesis argument that a sustainable church could and would bring about positive actions in race relations in the United States. I thank you for the project, for giving me the chance to do this project, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it, and I hope to see you out there. Maybe you'll get to attend my multi-ethnic church. Thank you, and have a great day.